There's this chilling idea from philosophy that's been quietly haunting filmmakers for decades. In this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain and look at how some of cinema's greatest minds have turned this idea into these elaborate, unforgettable, and honestly, pretty unsettling puppet theaters on screen. So, let me ask you something right off the bat. How much of your life is really you? How many of your choices, your words, your actions are genuinely your own? And how many are just you playing a role, following a script you didn't even know was handed to you? Well, this all goes back to the philosopher Immanuel Kant. He imagined this scenario where we're all just puppets, gracefully following the rules, doing what's expected, but without any real freedom or moral core. It's like we're just going through the motions. And this haunting vision is exactly what has obsessed filmmakers for years. All right, so first up, we're going to look at how these cinematic nightmares are actually built. How do you create a world on screen where people are basically marionettes, their entire lives controlled by some unseen hand? Let's start with the puppet masters themselves, the ones pulling the strings. We'll look at the incredible stages they build to manipulate their unwitting stars, from prisons you can see and touch to the ones that are totally invisible. And you really can't talk about this without bringing up The Truman Show. I mean, it's the ultimate example. Truman Burbank's perfect life is literally a 24/7 TV show. His whole world is a giant set. His friends are all actors, and every single moment is being broadcast to the world from a control room hidden inside a fake moon. And what's so fascinating is how the puppet master, the show's creator, Christoph, justifies all this. He doesn't see himself as a jailer. Oh no. He thinks he's a savior. He's arguing that this beautiful, perfect cage he's built is actually a gift, that a flawless, scripted reality is way better than the messy chaos of real freedom. Okay, but a prison doesn't always need walls, right? What if it's completely invisible? That's exactly what Lars von Trier explores in Dogville. The whole town is just a bare stage with buildings and roads marked out with chalk lines on the floor. This is what's so brilliant and so disturbing about Dogville. It shows us you don't need physical barriers to build a prison. The characters pretend to open doors that aren't there, but what really traps the main character, Grace, is the constant judging stare of the community. Social pressure, fear, all those unspoken rules, they become walls stronger than any brick or steel. Things can get even creepier, though. I mean, what if you could just skip manipulating the stage and program the actor's mind directly? The Manchurian Candidate goes right there, into this terrifying idea of brainwashing. It turns a war hero into a political assassin who has no idea he's even doing it. And the great film critic Roger Ebert really hit the nail on the head here. The movie gave us this whole new language for the idea. The character isn't just following social rules. His mind has been literally rewritten with a script from someone else. And it all gets activated by a trigger, a simple playing card. He is, for all intents and purposes, a human puppet. So, when you put these side by side, you start to see two really different ways this puppet theater can work. You've got the external control, like the cameras and the giant dome in the Truman Show, and then you've got the internal control, a hidden program installed right into someone's brain, making them a puppet who doesn't even know they have strings. Okay, so we've seen the prisons, but that's not the whole story. What happens when the puppets start to notice the strings? When they look up and realize, wait a minute, I'm on a stage. That's when things get really interesting. Truman's breakout is just incredible. It's a literal escape. He starts noticing these little glitches in his reality, like a stage light falling out of the sky. So he confronts his deepest implanted fear, the water. And he sails his boat right to the edge of the world. And then, bam, his boat literally hits the wall, this painted backdrop at the sky. He finds a staircase, an exit door, takes a final bow, and just walks out. It's one of the greatest moments of liberation in movie history. But the escape isn't always so physical. Sometimes it's a trip inside your own head. And you can't get more surreal than David Lynch's Mulholland Drive. There's this one scene where two characters end up in this bizarre theater called Club Silencio, and the whole performance is designed to just shatter their idea of what's real. The guy on stage just comes right out and says it. There is no band. He's telling us and the characters directly, what you're about to experience isn't real, it's a recording, it's an illusion. He's showing you how the magic trick works while he's doing it. And this is the moment that just punches you in the gut. You have this singer pouring her heart out, delivering this unbelievably emotional performance. The characters are weeping, it feels so real, so raw, and then she just collapses on stage. But her voice keeps going, perfect and powerful. It was all a recording. That profound emotion was just an illusion, and it forces you to question everything you feel.
And if you want to see this whole idea taken to its absolute mind-bending limit, you have to look at Synecdoche, New York. This is a movie where a theater director's obsession with capturing reality on stage ends up with the stage literally swallowing reality itself.
So get this, a director decides to stage a play about his own life, so he builds a full-scale replica of New York City inside a warehouse. But the play gets so complicated he has to hire an actor to play him, and then another actor to play that actor. The stage keeps expanding until it actually contains a copy of itself. In his quest to become the ultimate puppet master of his own life, he ends up a forgotten puppet in his own masterpiece. So, okay, we've walked through these incredible cinematic worlds, from perfect domes to infinite stages. But the whole point of this is to eventually turn that camera around and point it right back at us, because these films aren't just fantasies, they're mirrors.
So, what are the scripts in our lives? Seriously, think about it. What are the unwritten rules you follow every day? The rules you play without even thinking about it? The invisible stages you perform on?
Maybe it's the carefully curated version of yourself you present on social media, a performance for an audience of followers. Or maybe it's the corporate ladder, a script that tells you exactly what to do and say to get ahead. It could be dating profiles, societal expectations, or even just your own daily habits that you run on autopilot. These are the stages of our modern world, our own puppet theaters. And that, right there, is why these movies are so powerful. They're not just entertainment, they're a kind of training. They sharpen our eyes and our instincts, helping us spot the difference between something real and something that's just a performance. Not just on screen, but in our own lives too.
Because at the end of the day, that awareness is everything. As long as we can still see the strings, as long as we can recognize when we're on a stage and just playing a part, we still have the power to choose. Seeing the illusion is the first step to breaking it. That's what freedom really is.
So I'll leave you with this one last, pretty intense question. Truman found his exit door and chose the scary, unpredictable real world over his perfect, comfortable cage. If you found the door at the edge of your own stage, what would you do? Would you open it?